it's Chris with the Denver YMCA. We hope you all are staying safe during these times. With so many of us having to stay home, we just wanted to provide you with some drills that you guys can do at home to keep you moving and to keep you active. So as long as you have a lacrosse stick and a lacrosse ball, you should be able to follow along at home. So today we are going to get into some lacrosse drills for beginners. We hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, video 1 today we are going to show you how to hold a lacrosse stick. Depending on whether you're right or left-handed is going to determine how you hold the stick. You want to start with your dominant hand, palm up. In this case, my dominant hand is my right hand. I start with the palm up, and my left hand is going to be palm down. I grab the stick in between just like that, and when I'm grabbing the stick, I don't want a super firm grip. Instead, I just kind of want the shaft to gently rest on my fingertips here, just kind of right there, and then I want my thumb on the side of the stick, just like that. Now, when you're holding the stick, the left hand always, or your dominant, least dominant hand, is always going to be below the halfway mark in the stick. It's never going to come up here. This hand, your dominant hand, is going to change in its position, depending on what you're doing at the time. For instance, if you're about to receive a ball, you want that hand right below the head of the stick, ready to receive that ball, allows for a little more control. If you're going to do something like cradle, you probably want to bring your hand about a quarter of the way down, again, allowing for you to protect the stick, protect the ball. And then if you need a little more leverage, if you're about to do something like pass, you want to bring that hand about halfway down, gives you a little bit more momentum and a little bit more leverage. For today, we are going to start with our hand right at about the quarter mark, so where you would see it for cradle. And we want it about shoulder length apart. Whenever you're holding the stick, especially if you're cradling, you want to make sure your hands are about shoulder length apart. This just allows for the most control. If your hands are too close, too wide, it becomes a little harder. You don't have to pass the ball up like that. So again, just kind of make sure that your arms are about shoulder width apart. Now, one of the most frequent stances you'll see with a lacrosse stick is called the triple threat stance. It's called the triple threat because just like in basketball, you can do 3 things from this stance. You can either go ahead and pass, you can release the ball, so you can either shoot, pass, you can either try and dodge, cradle, or you can fake the pass. So there's a lot of options that you can do out of the triple threat position. Alright guys, in video 2, we are going to show you how to do one of the most fundamental things in lacrosse, which is cradling. Cradling protects the ball from defenders, it helps you develop a rhythm, especially while you're moving, and it's absolutely vital if you want to become a great lacrosse player. So the first kind of cradle we are going to work on today is called a power cradle. Sometimes it's also called the up-down cradle. So again, holding your stick with your dominant hand near the top, about a quarter way down, your least dominant hand down near the bottom of the stick. We want the stick to start essentially right here, right at our belly button, right here. And what we're just going to do is we're just going to bring the head of that stick up and down, just like that, over and over again. I'm doing it without the ball first, and this is how I want you guys to start, just working on that motion. If you notice, you'll see a lot of it. My left hand doesn't really move so much at all. My upper hand, my right hand, is doing a lot of the work for me. And especially my wrist is doing all of that, just bringing it up and down, up and down. Again, the stick is resting just kind of on the fingertips there, which allows for a loose grip, allows for the stick to rotate, and allows for me to do all that motion with just my dominant hand. Now, with the ball, again, we're bringing up, we don't want to bring it all the way upside down because that ball is just going to fall out. So especially when you guys are starting, you just want to bring that ball quarter way up, just like that. Up and down, make sure that ball doesn't leave the net. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. If you do get more comfortable with it, you can start to bring it all the way upside down and back, but just start at your own pace. If that ball falls out, don't worry about it, pick it up, put it right back in the net, keep trying. I always recommend that once you start to get a rhythm down and you start to get that cradle, that you try to do about 50 of those every single day. So if you can do 50 of these, standing in one spot, you're in really good shape. The next thing, if you start to feel comfortable doing that, you can do 50 really easy. The next thing I'm really going to suggest you guys try and do is that power cradle, that up-down cradle while you're walking. Lacrosse is not a stationary game. Things are moving, teammates are moving, everything's happening really quickly, so you have to be able to move and cradle on the fly. So when you guys are doing that, again, it's the same thing, same rhythm. You just want to make sure that you're incorporating your steps. So the first thing I'm going to do is just power cradle to the wall, walk back, nice and easy, super slow. So it looks just kind of like this. Touch the ball falls out. And I suggest that you guys always try and do about 10 of those a day, just back and forth, backyard, garage, whatever you have available. And if you notice, when that ball falls out, don't get discouraged. The moment it falls out, pick it up, just keep going, okay? So that concludes video number 2 for you guys. Hey guys, video 3 today, we're going to show you how to do a second type of cradle, probably the second most vital, which is the shooting cradle. We went over the power cradle, the up-down cradle in video 2. The shooting cradle is a little different in so that it allows you to go more out of your triple threat position, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. When you're doing your shooting cradle, you're really just getting ready again to try and shoot that ball, or at least deliver a long pass. So it is vital to learn how to do the shooting cradle, or as some call it, the C cradle. So the first progression is learning how to do the cradle. The cradle starts right here in this little area that we call the box. So anytime you have a lacrosse stick, there's this imaginary box that comes out from your right side if you're a right-hander, and if you're left-handed, it comes out from your left side. I'm right-handed, so my box is an imaginary line that shoots out about a foot this way, comes down to my shoulder, and back up to my head. So my box is right here. That's where I want a lot of my motion to be for my cradle. So my cradle is going to come out here like this. It's going to be right here for the most part. When you're doing the C cradle is your arm coming out while your wrist comes in. So your arm comes out, wrist comes in. So the first thing I always suggest to all my new players when they're learning how to do a C cradle is just work on the motion with your arm. So that's the first progression. It's just right there with your arm. Your arm comes out, but your wrist comes in. Think about holding the stick, boom, comes in, arm comes out. So practice that. It looks simple, but practice it. Arm coming out, wrist coming in, just to make sure you get that kind of motion. The second thing that you guys can try and do is have a ball. So again, same thing, just work on that ball. Try and get a looser grip on it so that a lot more of the ball staying in your hands depends on you turning your hand, turning your wrist. Boom, boom, so that ball stays there. Now, I know a lot of us have really nice lacrosse sticks that we can't really modify, but if you are lucky enough to have a spare lacrosse stick sitting around, or one that you can modify really easily, really quickly, I always like to just take the heads off of the lacrosse sticks. Kind of helps you with that motion again, just kind of learning how to get a good rhythm. So I've got just a normal lacrosse stick head here, put the ball right there in the net, and I'm just going to work on that. Boom, coming out, arms coming out, wrist is coming in so that ball doesn't leave. If it does, falls out, you just keep going. Boom. Arm out, wrist in. Okay? So that's the second progression. After you've worked on just getting the rhythm with your hand, the second progression is using the actual head of the stick. Now, once you've done about 20, 25 of those and you feel really comfortable with it, the ball only falls out a couple of times. If the ball's fallen out a bunch, keep practicing with just the head of the lacrosse stick. But if you feel like you are ready to move on to the third progression, what you're going to do is you're just going to take your lacrosse stick and you're going to hold your dominant hand again, palm up, right here, and we're going to put it all the way right underneath the head of the stick. So when you're getting ready to do that shooting cradle, you want your dominant hand right below the head of the stick. Ball goes in the net. Same thing, we're just going to work on that motion. Boom. Again, I want to just really emphasize you want a loose grip. That's going to help you turn it. So again, just kind of have the shaft resting on your fingertips, the thumb on the side of the stick like that, and again, you just come out, in, just like that, okay? When you're in your triple threat position, the triple threat position is one where we can shoot, we can fake, or we can dodge / cradle. When you're in that position, you're here back here with your stick near your ear. So that's why it's important, again, to kind of learn how to develop this rhythm. So getting ready to shoot, boom, you want that back there like that. Keeps the ball away from the defenders, and it allows you a little more time as you're lining up that shot. Now, if you feel like you get really comfortable doing it with just one hand, the fourth and final progression is going to be for you to put your least dominant hand, in this case my left hand, I'm going to put it right at the bottom of the stick, and you're just going to work on bringing that hand out, wrist in, keeping the ball in the net, okay? I really like to do about 50 to 100 of these a day. This is a very important cradle, lines up your shots for you. It's the very first step to scoring, so I practice about 50 of 100 of these a day. If the ball falls out, there's no need to restart, but I don't count the cradles where the ball does fall out, so just try and keep going. Boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. If that ball falls, I don't count that as 5, 6, 7, Alright guys, video number 4, we are going to show you guys how to do ground balls or scoops. When you guys are playing lacrosse, a lot of times the ball can get loose, become a dead ball, and in those instances we need to recover the ball really quickly and make sure that we're able to get it back in our possession so that we can try and get it to our teammates and ultimately try and score. So, the first thing I always like to do when I'm working on scooping, especially with my young players, is have them work on scooping without any sort of equipment whatsoever. So I've only got a ball here. I'm just going to roll it out. As that ball comes back to me, I'm going to get low, I'm going to step through, and I'm going to make sure that I use my hands all the way the entire time. So our next progression today is going to be the one-handed cradle scoop. So when you guys do this, use your dominant handle in one hand. You're going to only use the head of your lacrosse stick. Rather than using the full stick right away, I find it's a little easier to learn this way, develop a rhythm, and just kind of make it a little easier on yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to get nice and low, we're going to scoop through, do that a couple of times, and then as you start to scoop through and you start to get it with one hand, what I'd like to see you guys do is add a little cradle at the end, just to make sure that that ball stays in the net. So I try and do about 25 to 50 of these a day. Again, you just roll the ball out, ball comes back. That one was a high bounce, let's try that again. The ball comes back, we get nice and low, boom, scoop through. And as you scoop through, try to add that little cradle so that that ball stays in there. Guys, our third progression today is going to be a two-handed scoop. For this, you do use the full lacrosse stick, holding it the same way that you normally do. Roll that ball out, walk towards it, scoop it up. You can have a partner either roll the ball to you, or you can roll it off the wall, have it bounce off the wall, and roll back to you. So, ball comes, as it's coming, get nice and low, scoop, cradle if you can. Again, always make sure that you get as low as you can to the ball, two-hand scoop. As that ball's coming to you, get low, get low, get low, boom, scoop. Again, try and do about 25 to 50. Alright guys, in video 5 today we're going to show you how to do just a quick wall ball drill. Basically, it's just for beginners, just learning how to throw and catch, but not necessarily having to use a partner. So, I do want to just state that if you guys are going to be doing this drill, make sure that it's not inside the house, make sure it's not on any wall that has windows. If you are lucky enough to have a nice concrete wall outside or something like that, by all means, definitely go for it. But please make sure that you're doing these wall ball drills at your own discretion, okay? So, for video 5, these wall ball drills, what we're going to do today, we're just going to start in triple threat position. Again, we're just going to start with the ball back here in our box area, which is right off of where your dominant ear is, your right ear or your left ear, depending on which hand you prefer. And all we're going to do, nice and easy, is we're just going to shoot that ball off the wall, catch it in our stick, and just try and pick a spot on the wall that we're going to consistently throw it to. So I'm going to try to go right up there, white, boom, throw that stick, throw that ball, let it lay right back in my stick. I'm trying to keep it right up here inside of my box area the whole time. Boom, catch, throw, catch, throw. Now, this is a very, very short distance. I'm only probably about 4 feet away from the wall. You want to start really short. Just make sure you're working on getting that ball back in that stick, keeping it up. Again, if that ball falls, not a big deal. Just put it right back in your shooting pocket, your little box, just keep going. I try and do about 50 of those a day if you guys are able to and if you have the space, okay? Hope you guys have learned something. Hope you guys stay active. And hope you guys enjoyed this video. Alright guys, well that concludes this lacrosse video. We hope you guys learned something, picked up a couple of drills that you can practice while you're staying at home. Just want to say again guys, thank you for supporting the Y. Make sure you stay safe, and we hope to see you guys all here very soon, as soon as we can.